What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Today is a super fun video for you guys. I guess the title is maybe Is Loud Better or Loud is Better, something along those lines. But today's video's focus is showing how maybe an office space type amp volume, right, with the Pro Reverb on 3, how that differentiates from when the amp is really working on volume 6, right? And even though we can't play on volume 6 in the apartment, with the aux, we have that advantage to have silent recording. So today's video, volume 3 on the Pro Reverb versus volume 6 on the Pro Reverb. So let's go. Well, all right, guys. Today's video, right, is one that was really inspired by talking to the owner of Imperial Vintage this past weekend. We went to the store and they had a dual professional, right? This very classic John Mayer amp from like a couple of years ago, 2016, 17. He was a big proponent of this amp. It had JBLs. And I told him I recently got the Pro Reverb with JBLs. How is it? He says. I say, loud, very clear, and I love it. He then remarks, yeah, you got to really turn the amps up to get the speakers working, to get a really great tone. And that got me thinking, why do I record with the same volume on the amp that I do in the room, right? Why keep master volume on 3 in the room and when I record the same thing? So that is really the topic of today's video. We're going to hear the tones at room volume, right? Still through the aux, and then use the aux to its best ability, which is cranking the amp to get the whole amp to be working as one unison, right? So the tone you heard in the very beginning is the exact same settings from the last Pro Reverb video, and I'll throw it up right now. As you can see, the volume is on 3, right? Which with the Silver Sky in the room is pretty loud, but still it gets you a lot of dynamics with the volume control, right? And here's some more playing. Check out some tones. Right, so that's neck pickup. If we go to middle, right, Maybe if we go to position 2, middle and bridge, we can do something like this, maybe. Right. Still sounds really good, but I know for a fact there'll be a difference when we put the volume, let's say on 6, right? So we're going to take a quick break and come back with a higher master volume. Stay tuned. Well, all right. We're back with a very loud amp. As you can see now, master volume is on 6. Treble at 5, bass 4, reverb on 3. And before we dive into playing, a quick what to expect, really. More dynamic and much more range on the volume pot, right? You can go pretty quiet and still get a big sound. And the more you turn up, the whole thing goes to the amp, and the amp sort of overdrives really nicely. Also, right hand is almost much more important now, because you pick hard, the amp wants to break up. You pick soft, the amp is like, cool, I can take this. You pick harder, it's working, right? Also, how I said the EQ, right? How would I get treble 5, bass 4? I use the Matt Schofield way of doing the EQ, where you play and you twist the knobs until you hear the blossoming or the openness of that frequency, if that makes sense. Because there is a point in the pots where it just opens up wonderfully and you get the most of that EQ frequency. So no more technical stuff. Let's dive in and see how it sounds. Neck pickup. That's a very classic, overdriven, naturally Fender, right? And check this out. I pick hard. It distorts. Pick softly. it almost, with the soft picking, it almost blossoms and blooms wonderful. It's so nice because it you're not driving it hard that it's compressing on itself. There's still a lot where it can go. So now let's go to like the middle pickup and see what we can do over there, more like Garcia-esque. It sounds like live recordings, in my opinion. It sounds really, really good. Like mentioned in the beginning of this video also, the volume pot has so much more it can do, right? So let's say we go to volume, let's say 7, right? Go to volume 8. Right? Let's go to volume like 8.5. A little more signal to the amp. The amp works a little harder. Right? Even there, you pick a little harder, it still wants to break up just a tad. Go to volume 9. There it's just, I think, the best setting. You go to 10, right? And there it really blossoms. The combination of the volume on 10 on the guitar and then picking softly just lets everything work, I think, more smooth. Right. If you want to go crazy and you want to pick super hard, like if you have a heavy right hand and you go to the neck pickup, it can sound like a very cool Mr. Charlie, but just on steroids. Right? Right? That's very Stevie Ray Vaughan. Or he'll do something like So as you can really hear, there is a difference in playing at a home volume, right? As you saw in the very beginning with volume on 3. The amp isn't working hard really. It's just projecting a very nice clean tone. But when you crank it up, I mean, you could probably even go to 4 or 5, right? It just blossoms, it blooms nicer, and just overall a better playing experience while recording, I think, right? Right? I mean, if you go on like position 2, turn the volume to maybe about like 8, you could kind of get a tone like. Right? Right? Turn the volume to 10. Right? So there's so many usable tones with the volume knob. Conclusion: loud is better. Well, all right, guys, that is today's video. Conclusion: loud is better. Turning up the amp like the Pro Reverb that has no master volume, right, really wakens the amp up and you get the full potential of the amp. Now, if I was using the Les Paul, right, I think volume 6 would have been too much. So bringing it back to like volume maybe 5 or 5.5, I think, would be the perfect balance between the humbuckers and the single coils. So the amp has a lot of dynamics, a lot of more volume control on the amp, right? And it just blooms just better than being recorded at a quiet volume, right? So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please press like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.